Right, a very warm welcome to the Iberdrola IR team. It's fantastic to have you here with us. Thank you for joining us. We have the Director of Investor Relations and Corporate Communication, Ignacio Cuenca. We have Diego Morón and Sol Cabeza here, Investor Relations Officers. It's fantastic that you're here. And let me start by saying, first of all, a very congratulations to the fantastic achievement in the 2020 Europe Executive Team Survey, where you achieved an overall second rank in the utilities sector. You've obviously historically done always very, very well in the results, always in the top 3. Share with us what those awards mean to you and your management, Ignacio.
Well, thank you very much, Amani, and everybody in the program. It's one of the key exams that we have to pass every year, because among other things, we understand that the institutional investor awards and surveys involve a lot of people. So at the end of the day, we feel very proud of being included in this in your surveys, because at the end demonstrated that everything that we are doing in our investor relation activity here in Iberdrola is very well recognized by our clients, our customers that are sell-side analysts and investors. For the top management, another key element, obviously, because at the end of the day, the company has a huge culture on investor relations. So it means that everybody is involved here inside the company, and the recognition as Iberdrola, one of the top investor relations companies among European utilities or companies, are very well received, and is everybody feel very, very, very proud of it.
Yes, that's very true. And also across the different investor relations attributes, you always deliver fantastic investor relations. Sol, share with us a little bit about how you overcame last year, the challenges that you encountered, and what are the measures that you've actually taken to continue engagement with the investor community?
Last year, when the COVID crisis started, we had just presented our full year results, and we were just in the middle of the roadshow. And well, we were able to make some trips to several countries and meet some investors in person, but the restrictions started, and then many meetings were switched to virtual ones. And then after that, basically the strict lockdowns arrived, and we all, we all suddenly started to work from home. And it was new. It was not only with investors, but also within the team. And that was well, I think we managed well. The company had invested the group a lot in the past in digitalization and in platforms, so we were able to manage. In relation to investors, what we felt is that they were in that unprecedented situation. They were demanding a lot of information, and that we had to be more proactive, even more proactive. So we increased the interaction with the market through website, mailing list, and especially through virtual roadshows and conference calls. And what we have seen in 2020 is an increased, well, this virtual format, of course, is very time efficient. So we have seen an increased interaction with investors. And to give you a figure, we have met or virtual meet 20% more funds in 2020 versus previous year, and 40% more investors. So that means a huge increase in the interaction with the market.
Yeah, that's a fantastic achievement as well. Obviously, you've just mentioned virtual meetings. We've all gone through a very rapid adoption of technological platforms. Investor relations digitization, and the process of that has obviously been going on for a while now, before the crisis as well. You also at Iberdrola, you have IR apps and all sorts of other digital engagement tools. Share with us a little bit, what are you using internally that makes your work more efficient?
Yes, well, we have seen a growing importance of webinars and specialized virtual events for investors. Since last December, and in the last 3 months, we have organized a couple of webinars of current hot topics for the market, which are green hydrogen and offshore business. And we have brought expert from the business, and the audience was able to make questions to them, no? And we have seen an amazing interest from investors to that, no? We had connections in both events, live connections of close to 300 people, and also very active participation in the Q&A session, no? And we think this tool is very good for communicating and interacting with the market, and it's here to stay. No? We think that we will be still using webinars well now, and even with when the restrictions are decreased.
Yeah, definitely. And also here to stay is ESG. It's something that has been becoming more and more important over the last few years, and certainly gained a momentum during the pandemic. Diego, perhaps you can share with us a little bit about your ESG journey, where you're at in terms of ESG, in terms of materiality metrics that you've identified, but also importantly from a reporting standpoint, what kind of standard are you following, and how do you find alignment with investors?
Well, I think that, everybody might be saying that, we've been anticipating and pioneering all the ESG trends and all the ESG strategy, but I think that in our case, that's been the case, no? If you look specifically to the three letters, if you look to the environment, in terms of reduction of emissions, the bet for renewables, clearly Iberdrola was a pioneer. In terms of social, for example, in terms of gender equality, many years ago, if a woman working gave birth, he can stay at home for 2 years, getting her full salary. Workforce or more of the staff are able to work from 8 to 3 during all of the year, or 7:30 to 3:30 all of the year, in order to balance the professional and their personal life. In terms of corporate governance, we've been implementing the best practices throughout many years, and now we're trying to pass all those best practices into our suppliers. So I think that for us has been the ESG journey is something that started many years ago. No, I think that right now we have a plan in place for the next 5 years horizon of over 350 measures, no, that are including almost every single aspect of the company, considering all this ESG approach. No, in terms of reporting, we've been producing an integrated report from many years ago. I think that the next challenge is to anticipate the fact that we are going to be integrating the non-financial information into the annual accounts, and this is something that will be compulsory from next year onward, where we are already well ahead of the process. So that is something that we're working in terms of reporting, also integrating the financial and the non-financial reporting according to the taxonomy. No? I think that in that sense, from an investor relation point of view, that has translated into more resources, no? More resources in terms of people, in terms of access to different forums, in terms of interaction with other countries, with other departments, etc. No? So in that sense, right now, I remember many years ago, it was kind of like a part that we tried to do among all of us in the way that we could, that it jumped into the fixed income part, and now you have a specific people and a specific team just devoted to ESG investors and to the ESG strategy. So in that sense, all the resources of the company are devoted in that line. And probably when talking the challenges that we are facing right now, that we might be facing, comes from the fact that probably we'll need to look as a sector, as a whole, as a strategy, we need to look to some kind of standardization or homogenization of the criteria of the ESG world, because there is a number of indices, a number of different criteria, and sometimes it's difficult to track and different to follow. No? So in that sense, we're trying to work to some extent to try to standardize or homogenize to the extent possible the criteria, and able to focus very much the efforts on them. No?
Yeah, very good. And we've also seen, obviously, your pioneering work reflected in the survey results, where you achieved a high position in the ESG criteria as well in the survey. Diego, we're staying with you. We've recently actually conducted a poll with investors and corporates to understand what the market sentiment is with regards to activism. We're seeing that the buy side, the investors, are expecting actually a continual increase in activist approaches. But the corporates, on the other hand, more than the majority, in fact, are not prepared. They don't have a strategy and plan. What is your view on that, and how do you mitigate that potential risk, or do you see that as an opportunity?
I think that in terms of activism, there are some key elements to address them. No, I think that the first thing is a good management of the company. That is something that you know, in order to prevent, or in order to work, you know, to prevent that from happening, you need a good management with a good strategy, very much focus on execution and on returns and delivering shareholder return. That should be translated also from the investor relations side to get a good valuation that should translate into share performance. And those are the ways that we feel that are the best weapons that you may have, okay, or the best reasons that you can have in your hands in order to face this kind of movement. You know, a good management and how that translates into a good valuation. No, but on top of that, I think that something that we've been doing since many years ago is to engage and to anticipate. Okay, we've been conducting corporate governance roadshows since I don't know, 15, 17 years maybe, with a combined team of investor relations, general secretary, social responsibility, etc., etc. We've been visiting both institutional investors and proxy advisors, okay, in advance of the AGMs, in order to present them what the company was doing, hear for them what are the things that we could improve. Okay, so I think that in that sense, that ongoing long-term engagement with investors and proxy advisors, a way that helps into anticipating possible problems or possible things that you can improve, has been an additional way for us to face, you know, any possible, let me say, weakness or things that we can improve in front of shareholders and investors.
Yeah, very good. Obviously, Diego, you've been in IR now for a number of years, and you've just also mentioned some key elements that you've been doing for quite a few years as well with regards to governance roadshows. We are seeing that investor relations is constantly, obviously, under pressure to adjust and adapt, and there are, you know, various trends and market volatility that constantly impact the IR function and its strategic outreach. Share with us a little bit, where do you think are the trends in IR for the future, and how do you think that may impact its strategic function?
I think that both challenges and opportunities are coming from what we've seen are the money inflows coming from. No, in the end, that is what we do. No, we need to attract monies into our company. No, and obviously convince them that we are the best possible alternative for trusting and putting their money into. No, so in that sense, there are two very clear trends in that. One is ESG. So it's very clear that the inflows that we're seeing from ESG funds, ESG strategies, ESG indices it's incredible over the last years, and it looks like for the coming years. So the challenge for us is to keep ourselves at the forefront of that ESG strategy and ESG communication, no, in order to be able to attract all those ESG funds that we see that will keep coming over the next years. No, and the second one, I would say, it's everything that is related how to deal and manage with the passive money, okay, and the passive management, the ETFs, etc., etc. That is not a matter of visiting someone, you know, meeting with a guy with a group of PMs, or you know, sitting with an analyst in order to improve your recommendation. This is completely different. No, this is something that we need to give a thought around how to deal with. Now, there was a very recent example related to, in our case, or in the case of the sector, to the S&P Global Clean Energy Index. Well, this is something that it is unmanageable from your side, but you need to keep a track on that. No, how that is formed, how it does figure, what are the things that are considered in order to be included in that index or that ETF. So it's another way of doing this, probably more analytic and less relational, okay, or less kind of like a relationship thinking, no? But it's something that clearly, as passive money is going to be increasing in the money, is going to be increasing in the future, sorry. I think that the IR work and the IR labor will have to focus on that new way of thinking and allocating the monies.
Yeah, very, very true. Ignacio, I come to you. You've obviously led this investor relations team for a number of years as the director of the IR division of Iberdrola, very successfully, always actually creating visibility around your stock and your company, certainly mirrored in the results that you achieve every year in the Europe Executive Team Survey. Share with us a little bit, what are your top tips with regards to tools, but also in terms of the structure that you've created around your IR division that actually led to those successes?
Well, basically, I think that there are no secrets on this job. So if I'm not wrong, the first institutional investor award in Iberdrola was received back in 2004. Mm-hmm. So over the last 15 years or more, we have been honored with this important award. So, and basically the team is doing day to day the same thing. First is, we think that we are providing an excellent service to our counterparts, but to do that, it's necessary to first think that we are providing a service to third parties. So we are the responsible of passing out of the company, for transmitting outside on the company to the financial markets what the company is. So and this is a key element to understand that for us, our buy side and sell side people are not our enemies, are our allies, are our customer, are our clients. That this is a very, very, very nice job, but also the people that you have in the other part of the court is very, very nice too.
That I'm sure a lot of people like to hear, that it's a lot more of a collaborative investor relations.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, that may be the
bi-directional job that is a win-win for everybody if you really believe on it and you really makes a kind of must for your job every day.
Yeah, fantastic. Very well done. And thank you for sharing all of those incredible and interesting insights. We're now switching gear a little bit, and on a lighter and more personal note, I have a quick question round, and I hope you three play along. The first question, name please a historic figure that you would like to meet, and what would you ask them?
Well, I would like, I would like to meet with the first investor relations that in the history really developed this job. So these kind of people that take the luggage, cross the ocean, arrive to a land with the papers, need to discover something, need to transmit some values of a company, of a kingdom or whatever. So I would like to meet with Christopher Columbus or Francisco Pizarro or Thomas Cook or even Neil Armstrong, and to ask them, how did you did it?
How did you did it?
How did you did it?
How did you do it?
So this, because really, if you think on it, these people was our predecessor. Probably we are much more technical, but the one that they discovered America and other territories,
and with iPhones, not
even the moon, were investor relation of their countries.
Yeah, fantastic. I completely agree. And a favorite singer, band, or musician, perhaps?
I'm much older than my colleagues, so probably I'm need to back to the late 70s and to say that the Eagles or Billy Joel or even the boss, Bruce Springsteen, are my favorite singers.
Can you name a quote from a movie that you use in daily life?
One of us has their own favorite sentence. So if you allow us, Sol is usually using.
Houston, we have a problem.
And then I come and I compensate from the positive side. That is, always look to the bright side of life, from Monty Python's Life of Brian, to try to
and I try to manage both of them, and I usually say it's not personal, just business.
Fantastic, I love that. And do you have a favorite board game, Ignacio, or how do you relax when in your downtime?
Well, basically, I'm not very fan of this game, so I'm more analogic than digital. Probably Diego and Sol are every day playing with the PlayStation or whatever. For me, I do prefer to see TV movies or TV series, than to play these kind of games.
Okay, what was the last movie series that you watched then, Ignacio?
Last movie, in fact, yesterday I finished a TV series that is a couple of them. One Spanish that is called Hierro, that is about some crimes in a island, Canary Island, and the second one was.
We don't play board games. I think I'm trying to play Minecraft with my young boy, but it's absolutely impossible. I'm in between analogic and digital, but I would say more like Ignacio than. I don't play very much either.
No me acuerdo.
While Ignacio is trying to remember the TV series.
We're more fond of Netflix.
Yes, yeah, more Netflix than board games.
Yes. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm more fan on the TV series than board games. So I'm a member of all the platforms: Netflix, HBO,
Movistar,
Amazon,
Disney, Amazon Prime, Movistar Televisión. So I don't have enough time to play anything.
He wants to play, but he doesn't have time.
I cannot. So yes, really.
Okay, fantastic. And finally, a personal objective for 2021 or a resolution that you have.
I think that seriously speaking, with the really difficult year and plus that we are living, so health and safety for everybody and for our families, and the success will come. But I think the key element now is to jump off this terrible thing, sanitary thing, and to maintain health and safety everybody.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And I hope you and your loved ones are all staying healthy and safe in the future as well. And today, yes, Diego.
And if we can get some awards from institutional investors, that will be even better.
That would be welcome.
That would be a plus.
The survey is starting on the 12th, so it's all starting again. So good luck on that, and again, all the best, and again, fantastic achievement in the 2020 Europe Executive Team Survey. You're always in the top 3 positions as a team, as a C-suite, as your IR program. Thank you very much for sharing the insights, and all the best to you and your loved ones.
Thank you
very much, Amani. Take care.
Bye.
Good to see you.
Thank you.